Just as a little bit of background, enCore Energy has really got quite a long history, although perhaps new to the investment community or with our reemergence. But it actually came out of Energy Metals, and which was a successful enterprise between 2005 and 2008, at which time it was sold to Uranium One. I'd been on the board there and went with Uranium One for a couple of years, and then they started winding down or pulling back a bit, and saw the opportunity to go out and start again in the U.S. with an in situ focused enterprise in the U.S. And that's what enCore is. Our timing wasn't particularly good originally, as Fukushima came around right away, and we took the step of calling off, sending a letter to our investors saying game's over for 5 to 10 years. Wasn't a popular letter, but proved to be a good move for us as we went into essentially a hibernation stage. And only upon evaluating these trends that David cited, decided to really get aggressive, and that was going on about 10 months ago, maybe 11 months ago. And with that, we started looking around for how to jumpstart our ability to be a processor, a producer. There are 11 in situ plants that are licensed in the United States. We were able to acquire 2 of those in Texas. That radically moves us much quicker along in our development plans. You're probably looking at somewhere along the lines of 5 years to permit, do all the legwork, and actually build and construct in situ plants. Might be able to do it a little quicker in certain jurisdictions like Texas, but nonetheless, it really is a huge step for us. One of those plants is very quickly a timeline to getting it renovated and back in operational status, and I'll cover that a bit later, or Paul will. At the same time we were doing Energy Metals, Paul, our CEO, was running Alta Mesa, which is one of the few producers at the time that was actually selling into the spot market when it went from relatively modest levels, lower than they are now, to well over $100 a pound. And built that from the ground up, and was able to capitalize on that. So we were able to keep a good number of our team members, most of the technical team at Energy Metals, and as the basis of the enCore team. And we're so glad to get Paul to join us as CEO just within the past couple of quarters, as we really re-embark on this going forward. Our whole thesis is based on 3 strategies: short-term, mid-term, and long-term. Our short-term is clearly Texas, where we do have the licensed plants. We're in the initial stages of starting renovations on the Rosita plant. It should take less than a year and less than $1 million to get it operational. We will need to put in, that does not include the well fields, et cetera, and Paul will go into detail on that. The second plant is behind that, but Rosita will be the first one. And both of these plants were renovated back during the last boom. So not a great deal of work to do to bring those online. For our long term, we have extensive holdings in New Mexico, which was the U.S.'s biggest uranium resource and most prolific producer. There are some issues there, and I'll go into those as well. But that really is a 4 or 5 years down the road for us. And we're looking to some of the assets in Wyoming and elsewhere to fill in that midterm gap as we grow the Texas assets and move towards New Mexico. But essentially, the whole premise here is we're looking at what we think will be a decade-long, or perhaps even longer, time frame for a very healthy nuclear industry, which will be the first time that's happened since the Cold War. And we think we're very well positioned to take advantage of that in the United States, and with such a elite team of in situ experts.